All right, as you can see, I just have the slide here. If you need help getting to this part right here, click on the link at the top right-hand corner, and that'll take you to a video showing you how to get to this portion right here. Once you get to this, come back to this video and follow along. The three things I have on the table, one of them you'll need, and the other two are optional. The first thing is the 3mm punch, and this is something you'll need. This is mandatory. Second is an armor's block. I have the SIG armor's block here. You don't need to use this. You could use a regular armor's block. And the last thing is the rag. It's not mandatory, but if you have a hard time holding on to the spring for the striker assembly, the rag can help give you a better grip on the spring. Let's get started. So you take your 3mm punch, and see right here, this gray piece right here is part of the striker assembly. It's part of the sleeve. You want to take your 3mm punch, put it on top like that of the sleeve, and you're going to pull it downward. Now once you compress downward, you're going to have your finger on top of this back plate, and you're going to push the back plate off like this. Once you take the back plate off, you're going to keep your finger here because the striker assembly is compressed. It's under spring tension, so it will come up and hit your finger, and that way it doesn't come flying out of the slide. Let me show you what it looks like. 3mm punch on top of the sleeve, pull that down, push my finger over the back plate, comes off. Now that we have the back plate out, you put your finger on this little silver piece and you push upward, and the striker assembly comes out. Now let me change the positioning of the camera so this way I can better show you how to disassemble your striker assembly. If you don't have an armor's block, you can just take this part right here and put it on the table and do everything you need from here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do all this with an armor's block. The goal here is to compress the spring downward, and this black collar here is actually two cups. They call them cups. And when they are together, they form a collar like you see here. Now, when we compress the spring, that's when we'll be able to remove the cups. And I'll show you what it looks like. So using my armor's block, I'm going to put this piece right here into this opening like that. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to try to come up as high as possible without covering the black collar, and I'm going to pull the spring down. Once I pull the spring down with this hand, I'm going to remove the cups. I'll show you what it looks like. So spring down, pulling the cups out, boom, and then slowly release the spring because that's a lot of tension. It'll go flying if you just let go. Pull the spring off, set that aside, take this out of your armor's block, set that aside. Here's what the cups look like. So it looks just like a half of the collar. You can see this part right here is the piece that goes underneath the spring. So it goes like this. So that's what captures the spring when they're both in. When these are both in together like that, that's what captures the spring and holds the spring onto the striker. And the black collar is captured underneath this lip right here of the striker. So that's how the spring stays in place. Normally, the sleeve comes off, and then so does the spring. I noticed with this one, it's just really hard to get this off. It doesn't seem like they want you to take this off. I could probably force this thing, but there's no reason to. This is a how-to video for you guys in case, let's say your striker breaks or you need to clean your striker assembly. So I'm not going to force this sleeve off. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is right now. If you had to take yours off, just remember that. So you would put the spring on first, and then you would put the sleeve on. And then you would take this part right here and slide it into this groove right here, just like that. And that's how you would set it up to start putting everything back together. Now I take this part right here, put it back into the armor's block, just like that. Take the spring and put it on top over the striker like that. It doesn't matter what side goes on first. And then what we need to do now is we need to grab the spring from here and compress downward. So at this point, this is where if you're going to have a hard time holding this spring down, that you're going to need to use the rag. Now, if you have to use the rag, you're going to want to have a few layers and try to get up as high on this spring as possible. You don't want to be over the spring because obviously you got to get those cups in there, but you want to have the rag up as high as possible where you could still see the top of the spring. and then you're going to basically compress this down, and then you'll put the cups on. We're going to use our fingers with no rag. So how I do this is just grab the spring at the very top, compress this down, grab one of the cups, put the cup in like this, and then slide this over like that, and then put the second cup in like that. And there you go. So now that we have the collar installed with Shadow Systems, they have on their collars a circle right here and here. And what Shadow Systems says is they want that circle to be placed right above where the spring ends. And you can see the spring ends right over here, right? So right where that spring ends, you place the circle like I have it. And actually, it can be moved over slightly. Just like that. And now the collar is installed properly to Shadow Systems specifications. And now we can put it back into the slide. What we do from here is we take this part right here and we put it into this hole right here, just like that. You want to make sure that this silver piece right here goes into this channel like that. And now all you have to do is install the back plate. And with the back plate, there's this part right here, this little area right here. And on the other side, they have the same thing, this area right here. So those areas slide into this right here, this opening, and this opening right here. So I like to kind of set it up so it's ready to be slid in. So I take the back plate and I put it into those openings just like that. This is what it looks like. So I'll give it a top-down view. It looks like this. So those side pieces are in those grooves on either side. So now I'm ready to push the back plate up. So now all I have to do is take my thumb and push this striker assembly sleeve into the slide. Now, if your thumb is too big, what you could do is you could take your 3mm punch and put it over like this area right here, and then compress it downward. And then once you compress it downward, then you could push the back plate up. We're going to use my thumb. So I'm going to basically push the striker assembly in. Now I have enough room to push the back plate in like this, release my thumb pressure, and continue to push the back plate up. You'll hear that click. Now you know the back plate is installed correctly. Congratulations, you have removed and reinstalled your striker assembly for your Shadow CR920XP. If the video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you're in the market for CCW insurance, check out Right to Bear. Link is in the description below. Use coupon code UBR10 to get 10% off your entire order. If you haven't already, please subscribe and tell a friend about the channel. Every subscriber helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.